G'day, it's Simon and James at a very special South OC Cars and Coffee. Not giving away too much of what we might have here this morning. Hey, first of all, before we get into that, well done, James, getting these guys to bring, well, you tell it. What have we got here?
We have the Red Bull RB19 Formula One car here this morning. It is mental. We're going to check it out in a second.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely cool. And of course, that means one of our biggest shows of the year, as it always is when we get the Red Bull guys here. So please remember, when you come to the show, no speeding, no revving, no burnouts. That includes getting on and off the freeways and on the streets of San Clemente as well. There is so much to see, including this baby behind us. Let's go for a walk and check some stuff out.
Let's do it.
Exciting day for us here today at South OC Cars and Coffee. James has managed to get the guys from Red Bull to bring something behind us. First of all, well done, James. Great job doing that. Let's talk about the car.
Yeah, so this is the RB19, the latest Red Bull F1 car. I think if you guys were here with us last time, September of last year, we had the RB06, was it? Which is a 2010 championship car. This is the brand new one. You can see it is so much bigger than the last one that we had here. It's, I want to say, probably 50-60% bigger. Just the tires alone, I mean, they're huge, massive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez, they would normally drive their own versions of this car. This is not a car that's actually been on the track. This is a show car.
Yes.
But we were talking about it. It's still got all of the parts and pieces. It doesn't have an engine in there, which is probably makes it easier for us to push into place.
Yes.
But this is still a $20 million beast probably sitting here.
Probably about that. I mean, it is undoubtedly the most expensive car that we've had here.
So next year things change with F1. I think the aero changes. One of the biggest changes in this era of car, of course, was the Halo, which has saved so many lives since it's been introduced. Previously, before this Halo was up here, if a car rode up across the top of another car or if a tyre came across somebody, it would...
You're done.
It was done. But the Halo has saved so many lives. And it's interesting because I always thought, how do they drive with this bar in front of them? And the answer to that is hold your hand in front of your face like this and you'll notice you see straight through it. Your eyes go either side. So it's really, really clever engineering. Obviously, no F1 this weekend. I was hoping we might have a certain Aussie who's no longer with the RB team.
Oh, yes.
Daniel here.
Yeah. That's all right, though. Hopefully next time. But, I mean, it's so cool to have this car out here. Massive thank you to the Red Bull team for making this happen, and hopefully we can get another one next year.
And good job, James, for making this happen too.
Thank you.
Starting off with a car we haven't talked about before. This is Sarah's 718 Cayman. Got some nice little options on this thing. It's got the 911 wheels, it's got sport seats, it's got a sport exhaust, so it's got the bimodal exhaust. Really lovely car to drive. This is the car that really changed my mind about Porsche as a company. Next to it, we have James's R8, not your average R8 either, obviously running on HREs, a ton of 1016 Industries carbon on this thing. But in the back, we have a VF Engineering supercharger in that. And then next to it, just to keep the quality going, this is a Singer. These guys do the best job of resto modding classic Porsches like this particular one, have earned themselves the reputation of just being one of the best car builders ever. If you look at the interior, the seats in this thing, that beautiful woven leather with the studs in there as well. Wonderful instrumentation as we come through to the front, like just little details like the fuel cap that's there, trims around the headlights and around the indicators and driving lights. Wonderful wheels on it, nice striping through the side. So we come up into the back, just little things like see the acrylic, or actually it's glass that's been cut to sit behind the vent there, and then the power plant here, all air cooled obviously, but just look at the attention to detail inside this thing. I mean, this is like looking at a brand new car that's been resto modded into something that's just out of this world. Look at the way that's trimmed up underneath there with the diamond stitch under the top. Wonderful, wonderful car, every angle. Running a 4-litre as well, so a newer motor than basically what it came with.
Here we have a very, very classy 992 Turbo S, belongs to one of my good friends. I love the paint on this car. I've actually never seen it on another 992. You can see it has a really nice gray and black interior. Tons of custom stuff on this car. Has a exhaust and a tune setup from VF Engineering, so it makes a ton of power. What an awesome car. The all-new Ferrari Purosangue, the first one that we've had at the show. This one belongs to a long-term attendee of the event. He has a beautiful SF90 as well. But this is the brand new Ferrari SUV. I've never seen one in person before. It is absolutely stunning. You can see it has a crazy interior, all black, tons of this beautiful 1x1 carbon fiber all over it. Factory satin black exterior. What a crazy car. This, from what I've heard, this is just kind of like a taller 812 Supercars. Drives the same, feels the same. Very, very cool though. Between this, a Urus, or the Aston Martin DBX, which one are you guys taking? I think it's going to be a hard pick, but I absolutely love this car. Two generations of Lamborghinis. We have the beautiful Lamborghini Huracan right next to the timeless Lamborghini Murcielago. Out of these two, which are you taking? I think I'm going to have to go with the Murcielago just because of its presence. I know that the Huracan's a ton more reliable. It sounds great, but I mean, come on, nothing beats that.
We had this car here a few weeks ago. Isn't this absolutely stunning? This is a Dino. Now, there was a time when people didn't look at these cars with respect, didn't really regard them as a Ferrari, because the original ones actually were never badged as a Ferrari. Of course, Enzo Ferrari wanted to do something as a memory to his son, Dino, who died at a young age, and this car was the answer. You know, one of the things I think you can look at with a car to determine how classic the lines are is how beautiful the design looks years and years later, and this car does that absolutely magnificently. Look at the wonderful trim that's in there. Just little details like the way the glass wraps around here and the vents through here. We come around into the back, and you know, the one thing I like about this, once again, there is no Ferrari badges on this. A lot of guys used to put Ferrari across the top on a lot of them, but this is staying absolutely original. Just a spectacular car. Gated shifter in there the way a supercar should be. Just wonderful. Now you couldn't you know, pick one up for hundreds of thousands of dollars if you wanted to. It's just a wonderful car.
Here we have a very interestingly spec'd Huracan Serato. I've actually never seen this cream color. Not quite sure if it's like a colored PPF or it's actual paint, but very, very pretty nonetheless. I love that green interior too. You can see those carbon bucket seats with the military green inserts, the military green steering wheel. What an awesome setup. After that Murcielago, we have to show off the other V12 in the front row, this beautiful Verde Scandal Lamborghini Aventador SB Roadster. This has a very interesting set of wheels on it that I've never seen before. Looks like an aero disc actually integrated into the one-piece wheel. I think it's either AL or MV that makes these, but it's absolutely beautiful. Just such a presence on this car. Between this or the new Revolta, which one are you guys taking? Here we have some of Eric's cars from Voodoo, starting off with his McLaren 570 GT with a full 1016 kit on it. You can see that crazy P1 style hood, the canards on the side, and that massive wing next to the twin turbo R8 that he has on the side with, again, another 1016 kit on it, the lip skirts, and this massive wing that's actually supposed to be functional. It's frame mounted. You see the custom turbo kit on the back, color matched to gold. Very, very cool. We have a beautiful Army Green GT4 RS. In fact, we have quite the lineup to end off this row. Beautiful GT4 RS with tons of exposed carbon fiber, those beautiful blue buckets, next to Ryan's 600 LT. This thing makes like 1300 wheel. It is absolutely insane. He just put a Darwin Pro kit on it. You can see all the carbon fiber on here. Next to a Gen 5 Viper. Absolutely beautiful lineup. A very interesting 3-car collection as well. Let's take a guess and think about who this guy might be voting for. I think it's pretty obvious, but we have the car in the front with the crazy Trump 2024 livery. We need to get the Trump Huracan and park it next to it so we can show both these cars off. Absolutely crazy. Next to it, we have a beautiful GT2 RS. Tons of exposed carbon fiber on this thing. Love the white paint on there. You can see it has its exposed fender vents, the exposed hood as well with that stripe up the middle. And then next to it, a brand new 992 GT3 RS. This thing needs some more carbon as well. You can see all the plastic on this thing. Very, very cool car though. Love the Arctic Gray. Here we have a couple of cars from the guys at Audio Toys, starting off with Billy's beautiful McLaren 765 LT. You can see a gorgeous set of, I want to say Vossens on this with the carbon barrels. This guy is also a factory roof scoop car. You can see that on there. And it is slammed. Look at the fitment on this. It is absolutely stunning. And then next to it, we have a Ferrari F8 with tons of carbon on it. Look at these cool little inserts. He has a cool trunk spoiler as well, lowered on another set of Vossens. I think they're actually pretty similar wheels, but they do look really, really nice. Love it. Here we have the Batmobile in the front row, beautiful Lamborghini Huracan STO, finished in Nero Nemesis, which is their factory satin black paint. You can see on this thing, no boost, unfortunately, not yet at least, but a very, very pretty spec. It does have the factory satin carbon to match this paint. You can see the owner did a great job speccing this car out. Love the slammed look, killer. Only in Orange County can you ever see two SF90s side by side in the exact same spec. Very, very pretty SF90s, both red, both with the same, very similar wheels. This one has the carbon pack wheels, yellow brakes, just a crazy lineup. Very, very cool. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this thing probably makes a little bit of horsepower. You can see the Lamborghini Huracan Performante with a crazy set of beadlock wheels on here. Not sure who made the turbo kit, maybe AMS, Sheepy, someone like that. But oh my God, this thing is crazy. You see the massive turbos in the back, insane. This was unexpected. I think this is a turbo Hayabusa smart car. Look at this thing. It is so loud. What a crazy build. Here we have a very pretty 296. I'm starting to get to like these cars a little bit more. It was a bit of a hump to get over with the whole V6 hybrid thing, but I heard it coming in and it sounds pretty similar to the F8, to be honest with you. But this is a very, very pretty spec. You can see this kind of like darkish gray, flat gray on here. Love the yellow interior, love the bucket seats. What a cool car. Here we have you, and then the guy she tells you not to worry about. Starting off with a crazy big turbo McLaren 570 GT. He's coined this the 570 GTR just because it has so much aero on it. Full 1016 kit, big turbos, absolutely everything. Austin has killed it with this build next to a 620. Oh no, this is actually an MSOX. I thought it was a 620 from far away. God, this thing is crazy. Limited to only 10 of them, hence the X on this. This is probably one of the rarest cars we've ever had at the show. The beautiful P1 seats in here. This is the time before they actually had those center seats, so this were the buckets at the time. Love the Alcantara in there. Just a crazy lightweight setup. You can see it actually has a crash bar in the back with harnesses. What a cool car.
Check out the crowd today looking at that beautiful Red Bull RB19 F1 car. It is a massive, massive turnout. Always, always great to see.
I think the girls with their nails done now.
Great looking 1956 Series 2 Land Rover. This is the original type of Land Rover. This isn't a Defender, which a lot of people mistakenly call these. One of the ways you can tell it's one of the early ones, notice the headlights are actually inside. Later ones they moved them to the outside. Land Rover's theory was good. If we put them in behind these two areas, they're less likely for the headlights to be damaged. The downside, of course, was it restricted the dispersion of headlight over to the side, so you didn't get as much light out of the front of this thing. They had some little quirky things about them. For example, the diff would actually load up on one side. I knew of people that had these things, and if you turn too many corners in one direction, the diff would actually load up. You'd actually have to drive the thing in reverse to unload the diff, which is kind of interesting step on the side. But a lot of cool things like the vents in the front, sliding windows. That's how you can also tell it's one of the older ones as well. But very, very basic, very agricultural. In fact, that's what they were really designed to do. They were designed to be a farm vehicle, not a boulevard cruiser like the later ones have become. Leaf springs down underneath, and that's really the telltale sign as to whether these things are going to be nice to drive or not. Sarah, as I've mentioned before, loves Defenders, and we actually drove an older version of a Land Rover, not confusing the two, and she learned pretty quickly that it wouldn't pull the skin off a rice pudding, as they say. You had to go back into second gear up the slides of hills, and it was rough, noisy, agricultural and smelly. It is like driving a tractor, but there is also something pretty cool about that, because it's only doing what it was designed to do in the first place, and I think they're super cool. So this is Scott, right? And I was walking past, Scott has a Cayman, and well, as you guys know, Sarah has a Cayman as well, so we have a Cayman in our family, and it is the ultimate driver's car, but I think Scott's trying to turn this into a Tesla with a tech, and he says he hates them. Have a look at all the stuff he's done. I'm a little confused. In fact, no, I'm a lot confused, because I warned him he's about to get it from me. Scott, this looks like a TV in the front of your car. Definitely. I got to ask the question, What are you doing that you're watching TV at the front of your car?
It's for you. It's for everybody
For
else.
me, for walking past.
Absolutely.
But
You
it's not
stop
bright
it.
enough. At least you could use it like an outdoor TV, like a bright sign or something.
It just got put in yesterday. I
Oh,
haven't
did
even
it?
tested it.
And you got jail audio sub in there, and you got little sparkly things that it looks like it's got glitter in there.
We definitely starlighted
You have me
the
hanging
front.
out at one of those clubs with the poles in there to get all the glitter in it. And you did the same thing inside as well. Let's go and have a look at the inside as well. Nice carbon fibre. I'm joking, of course. Hey, by the way, I am joking because I love the fact when people customise stuff. Look at the ceiling, if we can. You got the sparkly, starry ceiling as well,
Yes, we
and nice bits of carbon fibre in there as well. But this thing's sitting down in the weeds because you've got air ride on it as well.
Absolutely.
So you've got other cars, you said. So you've made this car into effectively just like a plaything for you, right?
Absolutely, just for fun.
See, that's cool. That's what the car culture is all about. We get hung up on what other people do to their cars to be whether we like it or not. We shouldn't worry about that. We should worry about people continuing to do what they want to do to cars because that's what makes the car culture so cool.
That's
so,
right.
hey, good job. Love
Thank
it.
you, sir.
You know, I'm a fan of all cars. I'm a fan of resto mods. I'm a fan of things like we just looked at where people customise them. But for me personally, there's something about something that's period correct that really, really makes me happy. This being one of them belongs to Joe who's over here. This is a beautiful 1969 396 beautiful big block Camaro. Mate, this is a wonderful car. Do you know the story behind the car, where it came from and all that?
I bought it out of St. Louis, and it's a very rare car because it has aluminum heads, and they only made 311 aluminum heads.
Really?
96 Camaros.
Wow.
69, right?
So let's talk about that for a moment. Obviously, apart from dropping the weight down, what did it do to the horsepower gains? Do you know?
No, it's the same.
Same horsepower,
Still
but it was
rated
more
at
about
375.
Yeah, so one of the reasons a lot of companies stayed away from aluminum heads was they were afraid of them cracking when people didn't do the necessary maintenance, or in places too where it got bitterly cold and they could freeze and all that sort of stuff. So I would say there's probably even less on the road still. They're not as bulletproof as the old cast iron heads are. So out of all the ones they built, the wheels. Were they somebody put them on later, or did you put them on there?
No, I put those on.
They are perfect.
I like the American mags.
Yeah, the American mags with the red.
Day two wheels.
Yeah, they are so period correct. And then of course one of my favourites, houndstooth interior as well.
Yeah, it's a highly optioned car with custom interior and 4-speed.
Yeah, so it
It's
is.
4-wheel disc brakes. It's a rally sport car.
Yep.
And
it's
the console.
Yep.
So yeah, highly optioned, beautiful car.
So interesting. So it's a 4-speed Muncie.
Tilt wheel.
So 4-speed Muncie gearbox, her shifter on there as well.
Right.
So it really is a beautifully optioned car, and I love this colour. What do you know the name of the colour?
Dusk blue.
Dust blue. Yeah, it's
And
beautiful.
it's a fold-down seat too.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Which is very rare.
Yeah, interesting. Mate, this is a beautiful car. I love this era car. As you know, I'm a fan of Camaros, and 69 really works for me.
Camaro. I love yours.
Oh, I appreciate that, mate. My dream would be to have either Hugger Orange like this, or I also, even though I don't normally like green, I love Rally Green with the
Rally
white
green.
stripes and then the houndstooth interior as well. Beautiful, mate. Thanks for bringing it out as always. I love your car.
Yep. Okay, good to see you.
You too.
Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done.
We saw Joe's beautiful 69 Camaro before. There's more here. This is one of my favourites that comes to the show each week. Love this car. Belongs to Mike standing over here. This is a beautiful 69 Z28 running, of course, the 302 engine from the Z28. Wonderful rally sport, houndstooth interior, original rally sport wheels. Love this car. Next to a different take on a 69. This is running an LS that still naturally aspirated, but it's got a fabricated intake on it. Very neat, clean looking roll cage in it. Nice looking wheels, nice stance, completely different take on it. Next to it, a 1967 Camaro. Now you're probably wondering, how do I know all the difference? 69 is a standout, easy to tell. Difference between 68 and 67, this is an RS obviously. The easiest way to tell is if it either has the fly windows on the side, that makes it a 67, and it also doesn't have side markers on the side. If it's a 68, you'll see side markers front and back. Next to another 69, this one running more a traditional big block, but the main difference, notice the fuel injection, those injector rails through there, so that's running an Edelbrock fuel injection system, aluminum heads as well, so you get the benefit of an old school big block, but then you get the reliability of running fuel injection. And it's not that difficult to do, it gives you the ability of changing all sorts of stuff on the tune. You just have to weld a couple of bungs into the exhaust so you can run some O2 sensors and then an intake manifold sensor as well, those sort of things. So that's really nice as well. And next to it, of course, the C8 Corvette.
Standing tall, fear outweighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
This Chevelle's an interesting build, running an LS in there, catch can, still naturally aspirated, but some really cool things about it. Look at the way the headers are all wrapped, but massive Willwood brakes on it. And as we come along the side, check out the steering wheel. So F1 style steering wheel in there with all the instrumentation actually on the steering wheel. Some decent looking buckets, cage in there as well, massive brakes again, side exhaust on it. So somebody's built this thing to drive, obviously. It's actually really interesting. The tail lights aren't original either. They are out of a Corvette, C7 Corvette, I think. Really interesting build, isn't it? Somebody's put a lot of time and effort into this. I mean, just getting those tail lights to fit in there. Oh, man, they actually look really good. Good job. I don't believe this is your average 1977 Pontiac Trans Am. Little telltale signs, for example, toe strap at the front, quick release latches. Look at the size of the shaker that's on the hood as well. Normally that would be covering that very underpowered 6.6 litre or 400 cubic inch, 403 cubic inch, whatever it was, motor. Straight away, big Willwood brakes on it. Nice looking buckets, roll cage. It's running a standard looking dash, but then it's got all the autometer gauges in this place. 6-speed shifter, that's also a telltale. And one of the things that caught my eye when it rolled in, see these side exhausts on this thing. Somebody's done a great job. I am guessing this is running an LS. I'd be very surprised if it's not. And looking down, actually interesting, maybe not, because down in there I can see an open throttle body or carb. Hard to tell which one it is just looking at the top of it, but maybe it's not. Let me have a look down in here. No, it's not actually. It looks like, hard to tell, could be a small block in there. But anyway, great looking car, very tough looking car. Wish the owner was here to pop the hood, because I'm intrigued.
that is it for a very special Formula One edition South OC Cars and Coffee. Thank you guys all so much for coming out. Please remember, if you're coming to South OC Cars and Coffee, respect our rules: no revving, no speeding, no burnouts. That includes on and off the freeways, through the streets of San Clemente, and then of course at the show as well. I want to give a massive thank you to all the sponsors. We have the Bracketeer Way Marketing, Mazda, Maguire's, iAccent Attorneys, Next Level Auto Protection, Syria, Ineos, Grenadier, Carbontastic, Happy Jewelers, Beckworth Financial, and of course Josh the Auto Buyer as well. And then I want to say a massive thank you to all the volunteers that come out each and every week for helping us put on this event. Please remember, if you want to become a volunteer, hit us up on Instagram at South OC Cars and Coffee Merch, where we handle all the volunteer rostering. And then while you're over there, check out some of the new F1 t-shirts, hoodies, hats, lanyards, stickers, everything that you guys could possibly want from South OC Cars and Coffee. If you are volunteering, you get to bring your car both 4 and 8:30, and Ruby's Diner provides a free coffee and donut for everyone helping us out.
Yeah, massive thank you to Ruby's for doing that and feeding the masses as well, and a massive thank you to the Outlets of San Clemente for allowing us to be here too. Remember, if you need to do any shopping, go to the movies, grab a coffee, go to a restaurant, whatever, come to the Outlets, tell them South OC Cars and Coffee sent you. Big thank you to Red Bull for bringing this beauty along behind us as well today. Don't forget to like, follow and subscribe. We will see you back here next week for another South OC Cars and Coffee.
Thank you guys.